We'll move to our next speaker, Jesse Roberts, who is the co-founder and executive board member and director of Quantum Delta Netherlands, where he leads the national and international quantum internet network developments, which plays a key role in the acceleration of quantum technology within the Netherlands. He's also co-founder of the Dutch X-Hub. It's a European Union project that has been initiated by the digital industry to access data in trusted and collaborative cloud infrastructures. Jesse has an extensive background in the telecom industry and the network industry, and he focuses, and his specialization is on internet distribution networks and media. He's worked at various companies throughout Europe, including a previous job as the CCO at the Amsterdam Internet Exchange, technical director at Ericsson Broadcast, and he's also on the board of several European organizations and companies related to the telecom industry. With that, over to you, Jesse, who's joined us just in time. Thanks.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me for this event. Unfortunately, remotely, although I love the city, Chicago very much, been there many times because we had a quite large operation there if it comes to the IX world, but hopefully next time on premise. So I'm gonna have a talk about what we are doing today and what we have done last couple of months in the field of how to organize the quantum field in the Dutch market and how can we drive and accelerate the developments in the Dutch market. So that's what we will talk the upcoming 10-15 minutes. The introduction is already done. Great for this. Thank you for this. But as you all know, quantum technology is front page news last years, and probably it will be the upcoming years. But also there's a lot of developments going on in the Netherlands that was on the front page news of national papers, but also on international papers. And we have some really interesting and leading institutes at the moment in the Dutch market, mainly connected to the universities, but also on applied research and engineering part. There are many activities going around. TU Delft in the city of Delft is one of the locations where there's a lot of work done on quantum computing and quantum networking. The University of Amsterdam has the entity called QSoft, where they work on quantum applications. In the University of Eindhoven, there's a lot of developments on photonic integration and nano developments combined also with quantum. And in Eindhoven, there's a lot of things that are going on around the appliance of quantum technology, quantum networks, and quantum computing. So there's a lot of developments at the moment going on in the Dutch market, and that's what we brought together. One of the examples that was there is the first quantum network link that we built up in 2015 already, and that made the front page of the New York Times at that time. Interesting was also to see to have Biden already at that same day. We started also with work on quantum computing with different qubits, and I think we are one of the first to have that independent computer, quantum computer, also connected to the cloud. It's already and today possible to work remotely on that quantum computer to test your quantum algorithms on a cloud connected quantum computer that is based in Delft. And we had, before the summer break, a large MDI-QKD use case on running telecom infrastructure from the incumbent telecom operator KPN, where we showed what are the possibilities and showed the possibilities on a real network with the MDI-QKD technology. So there's a lot of things going on, and these are a couple of topics that were quite prominent the last couple of months, years, but there's much more going on. And in 2019, the quantum industry and the institutes that I presented a couple of slides ago decided to say, hey, we need to accelerate the technology in the Dutch market, and decided to work close together to build up a joint national agenda of quantum technology. And that was delivered at that time also to the former State Secretary, Mona Keizer, by Professor Dijkgraaf, who was connected to Princeton and to the University of Amsterdam. And that was really well received by the Dutch government and many other stakeholders on national level. That agenda focused on 3 important GET programs to stimulate the technology developments in the Dutch market. So stimulating the development of the technology for quantum computing and quantum simulation, to stimulate the developments around quantum networking, to stimulate the developments around quantum sensing and focusing on quantum applications. And that's supported with a couple of action lines that are supporting the development of the ecosystem. To give the possibility with action line 1 for applied research and innovations in a couple of goals that will start upcoming period, to build up the ecosystem with startup, with scale-ups, etc. To pay attention. It was also one of the last discussions with the previous speaker about human capital. Of course, there's a lot of knowledge and experience on the scientific part, but how can we also train the hands? How can we train the future engineers to build up the quantum technology and the application of quantum technology in the future? And the 4th action line is about the social dialogue around quantum technology. What is the impact of technology, of quantum technology on our social life? What are the ethical discussions that we need to focus on the upcoming period when we implement quantum technology the upcoming years? And these 3 action lines are really focusing on building applications in the quantum computing area to open it up for the industry, for the governmental area, for the technology developments, for students, etc., and stimulate it. And to stimulate also the collaboration between the industry and the institutes, and focusing on building up the full stack with hardware and software applications. The CATOR is really to build up the quantum networks in the Dutch market. R&D networks to test technology that is out there, QKD technology, MDI QKD technology, quantum internet developments, quantum nodes developments, and link potential users with that network, that R&D network. But with an end goal to build up a national quantum network between now and 5 years. But also connected to use cases in the area of cloud, mobile networks, IoT, and security areas. Because by use cases, also other industries will feel what will happen. So really at the moment in the Eindhoven area, we're building a quantum data network to a base station of a mobile network to see what kind of impact does it have. And if you connect it to, for instance, a self-driving car, how can we secure the full chain? Then on quantum sensing, developing different test beds, test facilities, building up a test bed also to focus on the development of applications, because a lot of hardware is already out there in the Dutch market, and how can we make it applicable with software, etc. around it, and use cases so that we can drive this further. That agenda was set up by founding partners at that time, the institutes, the industry, and many others around it. That was important to make it happen, but also TechLeap, which is an institute in the Netherlands that is driving startups, that's helping startups to also focus how can we learn from what's happening there for the quantum industry and see how we can make startups there the upcoming period in the quantum field. For this program that we have designed, National Agenda, we were at that time in 2022, early 2022, awarded with some first starting impulse funding, around 23 million, to pick up already and start up a couple of projects. But in end of 2020, there was also a growth fund launched by the Dutch government to stimulate technological developments in the Dutch market on emerging technologies like AI, like topics in the food and health chain, but also around potential quantum technology. So we built on top of the national agenda a proposal for that growth fund that is containing a request of 650 million to accelerate these programs which I just described. And that was fully awarded by the Dutch government. So there's currently a funding mechanism available that will start somewhere the upcoming months of 650 million for the upcoming 5 years to accelerate the program which I just described, which is a huge success for the quantum field. We even received much more money than the AI request that also was done in the Dutch market, because the Dutch government really believes that we can differentiate on this technology the upcoming years from the Netherlands. And we truly believe that it is important for the digital infrastructure of the Netherlands, of Europe, and globally. We see really quantum computers are the fundament for the hyperscalers, the cloud computers, and high-performance computers that we have today. The quantum network technology is the fundament for the connectivity and the digital infrastructure that we have today. And of course, not to forget the developments on quantum, satcom, and space and satellite that is important there. If you look into Europe, if you look into the Netherlands, the digital infrastructure, the cloud infrastructure is concentrated around Frankfurt, London, Amsterdam, and Paris. And we are really interested to take the lead from the Amsterdam part, the Dutch part, to develop the future digital infrastructure with, for instance, quantum technology that we have today. Then it's not about only the institutes, it's really about the ecosystem. It's about the ecosystem that is using the infrastructure today, but also the digital infrastructure of tomorrow, where infrastructure providers, data centers, connectivity players, fiber providers, but also network infrastructure providers are really important to connect in that infrastructure, but also in the end users from the governmental area, from the finance area, and many other areas. We really focus also how can we adopt them in our quantum program, and how can we put also their knowledge and expertise that they have today in favor of what we need to develop on the quantum field. And many of these players also have supported the proposal that we have made. So over 60 national, European, and global players have signed letters to support the program that we have designed and that we have awarded with the funding from the government, from the Dutch government. And I said, we really like to accelerate that ecosystem with existing companies, but also we have already many startups in the field of quantum technology. At the moment, mainly focus on quantum computing or elements of quantum computing. And even if you look to the startups that we have today, all these startups can deliver elements so that we can build a really independent quantum computer in the Dutch market. But these companies grew already in to a certain phase that they are delivering internationally already elements of pieces that are necessary to build a quantum computer on the global level. To neighboring countries, to institutes all over the world, but also to the big tech players that are working also on quantum computer. They're acquiring suppliers, solutions from these startups that we have in the Dutch market. Two main goals that we would like to deliver in that program is that quantum computing start to accelerate it, to work with different types of qubits connected to that quantum inspired computer that's connected to the clouds the upcoming years, to really translate it also to the existing startups, but also new startups that we have today, and to drive the partnerships that we have today in the market and hopefully build up new partnerships the upcoming period. And for the quantum networking part, the main goal is to build a national staging network that is stable enough that others can work on it, to build up application on it, to connect other infrastructure to it in the upcoming years and do some tests and structuring. Important goals of the program. As you all know, we just have started with this technology. Currently, the left side is what we see in the labs. And today, before it's in 19 Interact that it fit in a data center, we are not there yet. It's becoming there with quantum network infrastructure, for instance, QKD technology, but we just started and we have to make the steps. And that's also really what we would like to drive in the program the upcoming years. Close cooperation is, in our opinion, really the only way to success. So the funding helps, of course. The funding that we get from the Dutch government, the funding also that we were raising from the industry, because on top of that 615 million, we also driving programs to get funding also from the industry and other markets to accelerate much more the technology. But the cooperation that we have on national level, but also on international level is crucial. Like the partnership that QTech has in Delft with Microsoft, like the MOU that we signed recently with between France and the Netherlands, like the ongoing discussions that we have started recently with NIST and QEDC. How can we participate from Europe, from the Netherlands, on the developments that are going on national level in the US? So many corporations are crucial also the upcoming period. And the main goal is also to extend and build up that ecosystem the upcoming years jointly. So I hope that I gave you a great insight of what we are doing in the Dutch market with quantum technology and Quantum Delta, that we really are interested to cooperate not only on national level, not only on European level, but also on global level. And hopefully that we have fruitful developments in the Dutch market where we really can cooperate on international level. So if you have any questions, you're welcome.
Thank you, Jesse. Let's give the speaker a hand. Thanks. Questions from the audience?
Hi, Jesse. I'm Brian DeMarco from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Could you comment on, from your perspective in the Netherlands, what have been successes in bringing together academia and industry in deep ways, and where there's still gaps in your mind?
The big success that academia has found each other is on personal relations at the moment. So, of course, also in the Dutch market, institutes and universities always compete with each other. But we have learned also by negative side, but also by positive side, that we need to find each other to drive this further. And we have found by really good constructive discussions in the industry that there are gaps in the industry, but also that there is a lot of overlap, and that if we bring this together, we fulfill what we need there. So as explained, in Amsterdam, they're really good of building quantum applications, where they are in Delft really good on building the hardware of quantum computing. And at a certain point in 2019, the industry found out that it is better to work together and use each other's strengths instead of start fighting again on different goals and things. And that is really recognized by the different institutes, the universities, but also by this government, how we built up our way of working, and also the proposal that we have did to the Dutch government. The gaps are really at the moment, in our opinion, is just like the previous speaker said, is the hands at the moment. Find the right skilled people will be the biggest challenge that we have the upcoming period. How to train the people that we need to have, and how bring we the right senior people on board to drive the different developments on quantum technology that we have today in the Dutch market. Then another important topic is also a collaboration on global level. It looks like we are trying to figure out how we need to collaborate between the different continents at the moment. And I'm using quite often the example of how the internet infrastructure is today. The internet infrastructure today is really a collaboration. The collaboration between organizations, between IP addresses, between networks to keep that driving. And although there are a lot of geopolitical issues globally, the internet is still running today. And even when there is a pandemic and there is much more request on capacity, still we are able to work close together to make that internet happen and running, although there are always challenges to join and to fix it jointly. And that's also what we need to implement in the quantum industry. We need close we need close collaboration to make this happen jointly and think like running a network. What do we need to make this happen also in our quantum field to make this possible, to work on a proper way on standardization and to avoid lots of export blocking things to support that collaboration. So these are important topics that we have today.
Other questions? If not, I have a question, Jesse, and I think you kind of indicated that in the slide that you showed titled, "We Have Just Started." So here we're trying to, in quantum networking, we're trying to connect an area that has its deep roots in the physical sciences, very deep inside physical sciences, and you're trying to connect it to an established technology of networks and communication that has its established fiber networks, protocols, standards, expectations in data rates. How do you connect these two worlds, which absolutely needs to happen for this to go forward?
So, in part of the development of quantum technology, it's currently in a completely scientific area. And what we're also doing in our Quantum Delta program, we have a prominent role for community managers and business development roles, because bringing the industry with the scientific world together, you need to have people in the middle or entities in the middle that can bridge these gaps. So it's really crucial that people are able in the middle that can translate technology to what's happening in a certain industry, but also try to translate what's happening in a certain industry to learn from it on the technology that needs to be developed. So for instance, security is an important topic around networks always. How can you translate in a technology that is not yet ready for deployment or not ready for to productize it, already the input from security agencies in that technology, and with these community managers and development managers, we built up the context with the security companies. Guys, we are working on quantum networks, on QKD technology. What is on your opinion on the development of that technology? What can we learn from you that we need to implement to make the product much more mature than it is today? So that middle point role is a crucial role the upcoming period to make it applicable for what is out there in the industry today.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from our virtual audience?
Question from the virtual audience. What is the most important near-term application of quantum technology in communications and integrating the systems over the cloud?
What we today see is that the possibility with QKD at the moment to secure data in existing data networks, I think it's most close by. And also if you have discussions with different global but also European cloud providers, this technology could help secure bringing data to and from a cloud setup. And these are use cases that we are working on at the moment in our program. Okay. This is nearby, and the other things we have connected, as I explained in the slides, the Quantum Inspire platform, where we put on a quantum computer with different types of qubits in position and connected that to a cloud environment, where it's possible from that cloud environment to test different quantum algorithms on these different quantum computing setups at the moment. That's currently what we are bringing, but that is quite early stage, and you can do a couple of funny algorithmic calculations there, but that's at the moment what it is.
Okay. We have time for one more quick question.
All right, another question from our virtual audience. Do you think the startup space for quantum communication networks will rival the startup space in quantum computing?
What we see, especially in the Dutch market, the startup area around quantum computing has taken off much earlier than the quantum networking side. But if you're looking now to the TRL level of the quantum networking side, that's becoming much more mature, and also by different stimulations, especially in the European market. the possibilities to bring new startups around quantum communications will be helped with that funding mechanisms and the push to come to a certain technology in Europe. So especially what I see in the Netherlands and in Europe is that there are currently starting up ideas to build up startups around quantum networking. So probably that will ramp up the upcoming period.
Okay. I think we're out of time, so let's thank the speaker one more time. And thank you for joining us from Europe.